Welcome to the LANCave, where we're living as nerds. I'm Patrick, joined by Owen.
MOBAs.
They are all over the place. Did it get you? Did it get you?
Yeah, much like the rhythm.
Yep.
The MOBA.
It's gonna get you.
Yeah.
Eventually,
The MOBA did get me. I mean, we said it last year when this game was announced that if any MOBA was ever going to make me play a MOBA, it was going to be a Pokemon MOBA.
Yeah.
And a Pokemon MOBA doth I play. Doth? I don't know what past tense is. By the way, it doesn't look like this trailer, so I
was
honestly
trying to
think this
find...
trailer looks like a little bit better than what actually came out. Like in terms of those screens, so they've changed that intro screen a bit. Not that the current one looks bad, but yeah, remember this trailer. So the gameplay does look a lot like this. So, it's a 5-on-5, or there's like a 4-on-4 and a 3-on-3 mode, depending on what's going on. Your team based. There is an in-game, not chat, but like basically like an emotive chat type thing where you can be like, hey, I need help, hey, I'm retreating, and you can't spam it either. They limit the spamming, so if you accidentally do the wrong one, though, sometimes that sucks. But I've already put more hours into this game than I did Pokemon Sword, so which isn't hard. I only put like 3 hours into Pokemon Sword, but I've put about 5 or 6 into this.
I am going to try it. I mean, it's free, so why not?
Yeah. And I will not give it any money because it is owned by Tencent, and so I will give them $0.
Exactly. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But yeah, I'm gonna download it, try it out. Really busy week, gonna be a busy weekend. But next week I get a little bit less. So if I don't get to play it this week, it's already downloaded and ready. But if I don't get to play it, I'm gonna play it next week, and I'll let you know what I think. How does it work? And by the way, we won't just talk about Pokemon on this show. We'll talk about other things. We talk about gaming, video games, nerd news, and we ramble a lot. But in regards to the game, so like how do you acquire? I mean, assuming. It looks like you throw in a Pokemon and you can retract your Pokemon, throw another one in, which is kind of exactly what we'd want in a MOBA. How do you get more Pokemon, though? I'm assuming you start with like a couple and then you acquire them?
So you actually don't throw in. The Pokemon that you are is the Pokemon that you are for the match. And so that's what I was going to say to you. In terms of like setting aside a bunch of time, that's why this game is actually really attractive. The longest a match is 10 minutes. So if you're like, man, like I did it on my lunch break. You know, I ate my lunch, had my yogurt, my granola that I always start my day off with, and then I added a sandwich onto the mix. And then I'm like, I'm just going to knock out a couple matches. Played 2 matches, clocked back into work.
That's cool.
It's a thing of you can just jump in and out, very similar to like a multiplayer thing. So I was going to say, other than like going through the tutorials, you don't really have to set aside a lot of time to see if you dig it or not.
Yeah.
So you play with one Pokemon, and
because this part here confused me because it looked like someone was like retrieving right there.
Yeah, that mechanic is not in there.
I guess
this was like an early build of the thing, but what it happens is you pick. Let's say you pick Charizard as your guy, and Charizard's an attacker, and so each Pokemon has a role. There's like basically like offense, defense, a support class, which is what I like so far. And then there's like a speedster. They go really fast and can generate a lot of offense, but they're basically like for kind of getting across the board really fast. That bird that's on the screen right now is one of those speedsters, I think. So you pick your class, you fight wild Pokemon on the board to gain experience, level up your Pokemon in the match.
Okay.
And then the other way that you level up is by like getting into fights and winning the fights. And you score goals on the opponent, and you collect orbs from either killing wild Pokemon. There's a couple of giant legendary Pokemon type things that'll appear on the screen, and then you can also get orbs by killing the opponent, and then you go score on their goal. And basically it's just whoever scores the most goals wins. But super accessible in the fact that it's 10 minutes. I was playing a little ranked mode. The beginning ranked mode is super easy and makes you feel like you're great at the game, and then you get out of the beginner ranked mode and you get stomped on a little bit by people who are obviously coordinated. I haven't plugged headphones in, but apparently there is an in-game voice chat on this game.
That's good. Yeah.
That'll work through your Switch. You just have to have a microphone-capable headphone if you want, but I might just plug in some headphones just so I can hear if anybody's talking, because otherwise people are doing what they normally would do and using Discord and teaming up. I'm never going to get that far. I'm not going to put any money into this game. It's probably always going to be one of those things where I'll just jump in for 20, 30 minutes here and there and, you know, slowly collect Pokemon over time, because that's the pay-to-win mechanic, is that you can pay for the currencies inside the game and buy your items, buy your stuff, and there's no cap on your hard cash. There is a cap on how many of the in-game currency you can earn for free per week, which I think is a little scummy. I haven't hit that cap because I'm not a hardcore player, but I can imagine somebody else, like that's somebody who's trying to play the game completely free. Yeah, they're probably going to run into that. And
it's designed that way. Unfortunately, that's kind of the way these games are designed.
Similar to like a Pokemon Go, where like it is free to earn the Pokeballs, but there could be a thing where you run out of Pokeballs and you got to buy more.
I will say with Pokemon Go, I did have a couple times where like the wife and I, because for quite a while, like I think everybody in the world, when it launched, like we got really into it. We'd go out to the park, we'd drive around, just hit Pokestops, and we had like a couple date nights where I was like, where I threw in the money and was like, all right, we'll buy a couple packs of like Pokeballs and other items, so that way we didn't have to like grind for it. It was just like, well, we're just gonna have fun tonight. Doesn't really matter. But the pay to if the cap, say if you're playing seriously and the cap is done in like, say 4 hours of gameplay, that would be really rough for someone who actually likes this and wants this to be their main game, and they want to put in like 10 or 20 hours a week. That's kind of crummy that they would do that. I like the idea of the short matches, though, not only as someone who like needs to budget time or limit time based because we have adult things we have to do, and we also have to sleep and take care of ourselves, but
you sleep, dude?
Kinda.
Okay. I'm like,
probably more than you. But but
I get about a solid 5.
Okay.
Sometimes 6.
Okay, I get more than that. If I get like 5 or 6, I may be able to run on 6, but like if I go under 6 for like a couple nights, I feel it. And it's been that way for a while. So
there's some snoozing that goes on, like, so it's one of those things where like you're asleep and the kid makes a noise, and so you wake up, but at that point it's 5 a.m. and you're just kind of in that half asleep, half awake mode, and that's kind of where I exist for the first like 3 hours of my day.
Yeah, that sucks. But I mean, he's getting to an age where he's going to be at an age soon where it's not quite as bad. Probably in like a year and a half, 2 years.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Your guess is as good as mine, bro.
It depends on every kid's different.
Wait till he like gets out of the crib and then can just come dive bomb us.
Yeah, because he's gonna do that. That. Oh man.
What have you been playing though?
What have I? So I have been playing some Sea of Thieves. I played a little bit of that, and I realized how terrible I am at that. And I tried to do a capture, and apparently it's not letting me download it. So I played that for a little bit and was terrible. And then I played some more Ori, and Ori is just beautiful.
You're playing the first or the second one?
Second one. I played the first one, and I liked the first one. The second one, the second one is better in a lot of ways. There's a lot of things to do. There's like little quest things here and there. The colors are just amazing. It's probably, I know people talk about like Ratchet and Crank Ratchet being like,
get some crank.
Yeah, get some crank. People talk about Ratchet and Clank being like beautiful, and I agree. Ratchet is a gorgeous game. But something about the HDR in this game, it just it's almost like they were like, I just want to attack your retinas with beautiful colors, and how can we make everything look as unnaturally bright, like super bright. And it's not just the new TV. Like, I've heard this from everybody who plays it. Like, if you have an HDR TV, like the colors in this are just beautiful. But not only that,
you like the Zelda stuff in it?
A little bit, yeah. Like, I like there's some customization in regards to like your attacks. Like, there's different like attacks and abilities that you get. So it kind of has this kind of Zelda / Metroidvania kind of feel where you get a specific something like a double jump, for example. When you unlock that, it's like, oh, I can go over here now, and that's that place I was trying to go before. So knowing that when you start it helps, because when I go into an area, I want to make sure I go through every corner, make sure I don't miss a little item here and there. And there are ledges you can't quite get to because you haven't gotten a certain ability. But it's just amazing. It's not too difficult. There were a couple times where it was like a little challenging, but most of the game's pretty zen. Like, your regular enemies, I mean, I didn't have a problem with any of the regular enemies. It was the boss stuff like that that got me. But it's just really, like, not the whole game isn't chill, but like there's some really beautiful zen moments, especially with the soundtrack on here. Totally understand why. I mean, I didn't play it when it came out last year, and now I get why people had this on their list of top games. I was like, okay, I get it. I get it after watching trailers, but after playing it, I totally understand why people put this on their top list. I'm gonna keep playing it. It looks great. I'm playing it in 120. It's gorgeous. But the 120 is nice and everything, but just like
it's already
this,
pretty red.
Yeah, just already pretty. I mean, like, just like that. Like, it's like, how dark can we make the spider, and how bright can we make the eyes? Like, the differences in the juxtaposition in so many of these is just amazing.
It's really interesting how they do and they did it in both games, really, but they did it like way better in the second one in terms of like the enemy is in the background, but it's in the foreground at the same time. Like, it's chasing you, and like the things are going to happen to you, but like they somehow drew it into the background of the game. It's pretty cool.
The going into the background, into like the environments, it makes the enemy feel, it adds to that tension in the moment of like everything. It's not just I'm gonna die, it's like everything around me is crumbling, like those kind of that's how it feels like with the music, with the animation. It's,
if you want
it's art.
If you want some tension, you should go work at Blizzard.
We should. I mean, yeah, I guess you should. We'll start off. We'll talk about some other things, but we'll talk
only
about
because I know you're a little upset about Diablo.
I'm a little bit upset about Diablo. It's Diablo Immortal is being delayed until next year. It's not Diablo 2, so it's okay.
Still theoretically on pace for next month.
Still, we haven't heard anything to the contrary. I have a feeling that because of the way that they constructed Diablo 2, that it shouldn't be, it wouldn't be something that would be delayed. I think it would be something that they kind of understand the scope, rather than Diablo Immortal, where they're doing a lot more new things as opposed to taking what they know works and just making sure it's polished and it looks pretty. This game, I was really sour on when it first got announced. This is the famous, don't you guys have phones moment? You guys have phones? Embarrassing moment for Blizzard. But now I'm kind of wanting to play it now. I think because I have the Razer Kishi, I kind of want to play it, because I feel like it could be played on a phone if you have something like that. But not everybody has that. That's totally what they were saying, in my opinion, when they were thinking, like, I don't understand why these people aren't excited. I think they were playing on a controller like we are, and since at the time I wasn't, I was like, this game's terrible. I was actually really looking forward to it, but at the same time, Blizzard's got enough going on that I think maybe delaying would be a good thing instead of crunching right now.
Honestly, makes me wonder, like, I don't know when it was originally supposed to come out. Did we have like what was the previous date?
I didn't think we had like a firm date. I think it was still like holiday, if I'm not mistaken. If you want to double check, I want to say it was still like it's 2021, and then it was like holiday 20, or it was one of those nebulous dates. I don't think they nailed it down.
So they had some alpha testing in April. So that alpha testing though. That means that who knows. So this could have nothing to do with their PR and just how things are going there right now. And I say the same thing about Diablo 2. First of all, if you want to go vote with your wallet, I completely understand.
Yeah.
If you don't want to buy this game, I honestly don't think that what's going on with Blizzard currently is going to affect Diablo 2's numbers at all. I think everybody who wanted this game is probably still going to buy this game. It's going to be all those people who played it back in like the 90s, early 2000s, and that's just how it is. They've already committed to doing that. And so I'm wondering, like, when does Blizzard actually take any like financial hit, or do they? Are they going to lose some WoW subs, which they've already been losing to Final Fantasy 14 anyway? Are they losing some Overwatch play? I wonder where it's going to hit them in the wallet, or if it's going to hit them in the wallet like at all. And this isn't to shame anybody. If you want to buy this game, I'm waiting for the reviews, because after Warcraft 3 Reforged, I need somebody to be like, this isn't, they learned from Warcraft 3 Reforged before I'm willing to buy it. And then I actually have to decide what I want to buy it on. And then there's that little slightly icky feeling of like, maybe I don't want to give Blizzard money, but it's one of those things where I always like don't want to punish the devs, because the devs are the ones that are putting the blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah.
They're not the leadership who are allowing all these bad things to happen at Blizzard. It's one of those weird situations you find yourself in. But for this, I am waiting for those reviews, just because of the last remake they did.
Yeah, I can totally see that. It sounds like the everything that they basically were saying about it was that they haven't changed the core of the game, which is why I was saying I don't think that this would be one that they would have to delay, because they're basically saying, how do we make the graphics, basically redoing the graphics. And they were showing you can toggle like old school versus new school Diablo 2. Like they're basically running at the same time, and you can toggle those as like basically like a graphical mode. I don't know if it has to reload the game, but I don't. It looked like it doesn't even have to reload the game to do it. I get waiting for reviews on it. I did pre-order. I want to be part of the beta, which is why I pre-ordered, because it's supposed to happen sometime this month. I want to be part of the beta. This is one of my top games of all time, and it's one of my favorite like franchises and lores in regards to absolutely love the feel. So I'm hoping. Yeah,
I'll say the encouraging thing is that, and the other reason why I wouldn't mind spending money on this, even though the money ultimately goes to Blizzard, right? The people who are working on this is Vicarious Visions, the people who did the most recent Tony Hawk 1 and 2, which is a completely different game, but the Tony Hawk 1 and 2 like remake, which was bomb, looked and felt great. Yeah. And so that's at least something like that you can point to and at least feel a little encouraged. They also did the Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy, so they have this string of remakes going, and so I can see them treating it with care. But they're also a smaller team, even though they did finally get bought by Blizzard right after Tony Hawk.
Yep.
But I can at least say we haven't heard anything bad about that team, so I don't mind supporting that team.
Yeah. And either. Speaking of that team and the Tony Hawk remake, speaking of that, one of the new co-presidents, immediately I was thinking of The Office, the co-managers whenever I read this, but one of the new leads and head of Blizzard as the president stepping down, Jen O'Neill, worked on Tony Hawk, or she was one of the. I have to look and see what her credential was written as, but she was part of that
former
team.
Head of Vicarious, and then she was executive vice president of.
That's what it was. Yeah. So studio head. So Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy, which is great as well. Destiny 2, Skylanders Imaginators, got a list, and that's her connection into Blizzard, which was one that I took a little bit to kind of see how that led in. And then also Mike Ybarra over here, who obviously, and as you can see, very tied to Xbox for, I want to say, like,
a long time.
Yeah, I wouldn't say until like 3 years ago, from the end of the OG and beginning of 360 life cycle, part of systems engineering and all kinds of stuff. So someone who understands.
He was like VP of gaming at Xbox.
Yeah, he was. But like, and before that was like, is very engineer like heavy in regards to his background. Like, I feel like this could be a really cool like combination of their two skill sets in for Blizzard. Like, that was refreshing to me, seeing that, where I'm like, we may get, I mean, I know we like the remakes because, you know, there's the nostalgia factor and everything, but we see people who have where they started and where they are right now in regards to their careers, and where gaming is, they understand how to still make good games where they're not, you know, grabbing every penny that they can, like another company that we'll talk about in a little bit. I feel like it's more about art. Yeah.
This comes from this dude, the guy who was in charge of Blizzard, who I think was with Blizzard for like ever.
J. Allen Brack. Brack, sorry.
And a lot of people are saying he's running away. Dude, you don't run away from head of a company. I want to let you, anybody who ever thinks that, there is no running away from the head of a major corporation like this. You're either retiring, or they drag you out back and old yeller you, which is what's happening here.
Yeah.
The thing that the internet knows this, but the thing that's happening here, your Blizzard is going away. It's on its way out to be old yeller as well. Pretty soon, it's just going to be Activision, in my not so humble opinion.
I'm hoping not, but I understand.
The guy who's running Activision is still there, and that's Bobby Kotick, and he's been there since the beginning as well. And so, to me, this Brack dude, you know, and I'm not absolving him from any wrongdoing, but he is being used as the scape, and Activision is just going to further their control. And is it going to improve? Who's to say? Because Activision has the leadership that they've always had. Now, the thing that we don't know is, does Activision have the same problems as Blizzard
Ubisoft and so many others?
And so what's the culture like that they inherited? But the thing is, they didn't change the culture once they bought Blizzard. There's a whole lot of stuff here, but this dude ain't running. This guy was pushed.
Yep.
They took him to the edge of the cliff and they said, "See you later, sucker. We'll catch up with you," because he is named in all these court documents with Blizzard. So he's going to be in court at some point, assuming this doesn't get settled. He's going to show up at some point.
No, you're exactly right. He's gonna be in court. The question is for it to happen this way, and for him to try to walk out quietly and then hopefully uphold the brand in the lawsuits, because you know that's in Blizzard's best interest. So it's I wouldn't doubt that there's a what do they call it, the golden parachute kind of package where they're kicking him out, but he's going to get something in return. I know he's probably got stock or whatever. I mean, I'm not saying that he's incredibly rich, but I'm not saying that we should feel like his career will be nothing after this. It could be, depending on what happens. I just feel like, I think Blizzard probably knew that was going to happen. They used him as a scapegoat to help themselves, and they probably gave him a little bit to get out and be quiet. I think he
is rich.
Yeah, I figured he was rich.
$20 million.
Okay, so he's okay.
He'll be fine.
Well, he's worth
assuming
that.
The courts don't take the money from him.
Yeah, so he's worth that in regards to, like, so the way that they, like, figure out, like, worth, like, that doesn't necessarily mean he has that much money, but let's say it drops, and, I mean, Liquid, he's probably still okay. He's gonna, he's not gonna be out on the street.
How many years worth of stock?
Yeah, that's sitting there, yeah. So I feel like your more than likely right. That was a get out of here. We're going to let you say that you're stepping down, so that way it doesn't embarrass you, and then you don't embarrass us. That kind of thing.
That's what I'm saying. There is no stepping down unless you're retiring, and even then, sometimes with the retiring thing, they're still pushing you out.
Yep. That's true. That's true. It's all so much publicity going, trying to get the publicity right. I hope that doesn't mean that we're seeing an end to Blizzard. I know we're not getting the heyday. Like the heyday of Blizzard, we can all agree on was Warcraft 2, StarCraft, Diablo 2, World of Warcraft. Like those games, that was the heyday for Blizzard for 8 or 10 years. It was just nonstop hits, and then it was misses and near hits. Just, I don't know, to me, mediocre. I wouldn't doubt if we do see a drop in Overwatch. Overwatch has a younger demographic, and a demographic who is much more vocal on the internet about being against, things like harassment and bullying and that. I wouldn't doubt if we see an Overwatch dip. World of Warcraft's already seeing it. Including some like relatively big streamers who played World of Warcraft. There's one streamer who streamed for like 10 years. I should have written down his name, but there's a streamer who streamed World of Warcraft for 10 years, and he did like one last stream where he played a little bit, talked about it, and then deleted his character and like is done. He's moving to Final Fantasy 14 as well. So good for Square, good for Final Fantasy. I'm like, maybe I need to check it out because I miss World of Warcraft. Like I loved World of Warcraft. So yeah, I'm
a big fan of Final Fantasy 14, but we all know this.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I would say between you and a couple of other friends of mine, I'm like, I probably should try it, but everyone that I know who plays it is like completely immersed. And I can't do that because then I'll lose track of things that I actually need to take care of. But anyways, I hope that Blizzard will still remain, but they need to clean some house. And if this is a rebuilding year, a rebuilding season, if you will, where they clean some house and figure some stuff out, maybe we'll see them. Not counting Blizzard Immortal, not counting Diablo Immortal, Diablo 2, maybe we'll see them kind of go off for a little while and then, kind of come back. At least I hope, where they kind of clean house and right the culture within the company. Speaking of cultures and really weird things, did you see the McDonald's controller?
I did,
because that had me on a roller coaster this year. I've got it in the notes here, so you kind of see the steps. This was announced on, I want to say it was Sunday, a limited edition Dualsense that I think like you had to like win in a contest. Limited edition through Australia. Sony, I'm kind of paraphrasing here, but Sony came in saying, "We
didn't say the magic word."
They're like, "We didn't authorize this. You can't do that." And then it came out. McDonald's in Australia was like, "Oh well, that was never like planned to be like to come out at all." So it was a PR stunt, if you will. I wonder if they're saying that to like backpedal, because that is atrocious, but it'd be a collector's item. I mean, people would. Come on.
The thing that doesn't make any sense about this whatsoever is this is McDonald's. They have lawyers. Like, they actually have lawyers. Like, as opposed to, like, maybe some smaller companies and everything, we're talking about McDonald's. You're talking about the number one fast food chain in the entire world.
The world. Yeah.
And I'm being... I actually only can know this because I looked this up rather recently in terms of like revenue and everything.
Yeah.
Like they're top dogs. Like every time that people are like, who eats at McDonald's? Everybody.
Yep.
Everybody eats at McDonald's. You can turn your nose up at it, but everybody eats at McDonald's.
It may not be an every week thing, but like it happens. It happens. It's
I can tell you the last time I ate McDonald's. I'm no shame.
Mine was last week. So
mine was on Sunday. They have they have a lot of egg-free items. We mentioned that my kid's egg allergy and stuff, and it's easily identifiable on their app, their allergen app, which we all know I love a good allergen thing. Yeah. So you can roll through there, get you a sausage biscuit, no eggs on there, and have a good time. They're cheeseburgers, no eggs. You wouldn't think eggs would be in cheeseburgers, but they're in Wendy's.
It doesn't surprise me. A lot of people use it. Like I use it when I cook. Sometimes when I cook it's a binder, burgers. Yeah, it's a binding agent. Yeah, so I get it. In the buns. I mean, eggs are in a lot of buns. So
all this to say is like you. I mean, I know it's Australia and everything, but like your lawyers, nobody in your legal was like, don't do that. Nobody said don't do that.
Apparently, but I mean, it's McDonald's.
To me, I'm like, did you just not run it by your legal department before you put out this stupid thing, even if it was fake, or whatever? Like, because was the idea that you put it out there, Sony does come at you. It wasn't supposed to be made, but now you get it made because now you got Sony to be like, hey, what's up?
There's. Like,
I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah, if they put it out and it was a joke, like you have to have some type of context that shows that it's a joke, or something later on that you can point to later on and go, look, that was a clue that it was a joke. Look at the manufacturer, or like look at this symbol, like what, like if they had that before, they'd be like, dude, you're supposed to figure out that we were joking. They didn't. It looked real. It looked realer than the the KFC joke that came out, the KFC console. I mean, and then I can't even remember if then they were like, yeah, we're going to try to do that, but it looked feasible. It just looked like a pretty bad, it didn't look like a mock-up. It looked pretty serious. They had some artists work on this. It looks real, and I wouldn't want one, but I know people would, and Sony's serious about that control in regards to their peripherals. So yeah, I'm sorry. It's, I don't know. I was more surprised how quickly it unraveled. And I think if you look at articles, not that it really matters, but if you look at articles, there are so many people who wrote articles about it, and they either haven't updated or they did an update and it only shows part of the story. So it's just interesting how news and stories like this happen so quick, even on something mundane like this, that the takeaway, people don't understand the full context of no, that wasn't real, Sony said cease and desist, whatever. I just think it's funny that because these so-called journalists that write in their free time and then don't actually update their sites, if you go on right now, there are still ones saying the first part of the story or the second half or whatever it is. I just think it's interesting. And it's McDonald's. So, who's number 2 though? So McDonald's is number 1. Top fast food chain.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess that. So this is global.
I'm pretty Oh, it's not who you would like.
It's not Jollibee.
No, it's Starbucks.
Oh, that's right, because they consider them food service. I worked for Starbucks. I can say that they consider them food service because they now heat up sandwiches.
Top 5 then. So if it wasn't who you were thinking of, Starbucks, now you got to think who's worldwide. There is one that surprised me that they're number 5. But
yeah. Well,
who do you think
I'm
comes
not
after
looking.
Starbucks?
Yeah, I'm not looking. I mentioned Jollibee because it's big in certain areas, but I don't think Jollibee's on there. Pizza Hut?
No. Number 11.
Oh, okay. Arby's, I'm assuming Arby's not on the top 10.
15.
Okay. So at least I'm not too far off.
Think of a franchise that you literally will see 3 within 3 blocks of each other because they're way oversold.
Well, so other than McDonald's and other than Starbucks?
Yeah.
I don't know. What's more? I mean, 7-Eleven? Oh.
$5 foot.
Okay. So KFC.
Subway's number 3.
Yeah, sorry. Subway. I was going to say KFC, but...
KFC is 14.
Oh wow. So Subway.
And then personally, my favorite
yeah.
fast food place is number 4.
Well, it's not Whataburger.
No.
No.
Whataburger's up there, but no,
What?
I don't think Whataburger's on the list. Whataburger's 22, but
Okay.
Whataburger is one of my favorites. But
It's
my
regional.
absolute
It's
favorite,
very regional. Yeah.
my absolute favorite fast
Yeah.
food establishment, pure
Yeah.
fast food in its core, Taco Bell.
Taco Bell unapologetically.
I will always have. I don't care how gross you think it is. I don't care if it's not Mexican. I don't care.
I eat more taco. I eat more Taco Bell than I eat McDonald's or Wendy's. I eat more Wendy's, or I used to eat more Wendy's than either one of those. But now it's like Taco Bell's just kind of easy to, especially if you're driving. Like it's relatively easy to, at least in my
I'm looking
opinion.
at an America's list.
Yeah. Okay. You're looking. At
I wasn't
America's.
looking worldwide.
Oh,
I wanted
okay.
worldwide.
Yeah.
Because I was like, why is Chick-fil-A number 5?
Yeah,
in
there's no way.
worldwide?
Because a lot of those are like Whataburger's regional. It's great, but it's regional. In-N-Out, great, regional. White Castle, like I like White Castle. White Castle's doesn't have that. They're the first hamburger restaurant, by the way, the first fast food restaurant for hamburgers before McDonald's, before any of the others. Is White Castle.
Subway's still number 2 in the world, though.
Oh,
now
wow.
KFC jumps to the top 5 in worldwide. So they're not top 5 in the country, but they're number 3.
You're telling me
worldwide.
the Kentucky Fried Chicken, that the Colonel's chicken.
Yeah,
That he
man,
puts
you ever been to Europe?
that he
They're
puts
all over the
addictive
place.
spices in it that makes you crave it fortnightly, like that's more popular. I guess I mean I have been to Europe. Yeah, there were KFC, a lot of KFC. I wonder if it's because it's that American, like, not to tout us as Americans being like we're so cool, but like to the younger crowd in a lot of other countries, like that's being American is really cool. So maybe that's part of it.
They have apparently 18,800 stores in 118 countries. So,
I mean, I don't know about your
Subway,
KFC. My KFC is not doing so hot.
Subway comes in at number 3 still.
Wow.
Then Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut's everywhere. Then Starbucks rounds out number 5.
So, and McDonald's is still number 1.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and see McDonald's and I mean
they have. So what did I
Yeah.
say? I said 18,000 for KFC in 118 countries. McDonald's has 35,000.
yeah.
They have almost double
Yeah.
the amount.
So and I'll say like McDonald's not only also when you're this big you can do stuff like this. Like they have they have like their like $1 any size soft drink. Like that brings in people because you're gonna go buy a Coke or a Diet Coke, and you're gonna buy something else while you're there. So that got you in.
My in-laws will like leave the house
Yeah.
specifically just to go get dollar teas. It's like a $1 tea and a $1 Diet Dr. Pepper. They get the large and then they come back.
Well, okay, so you can bring this up if they haven't already. McDonald's has the most strict policy when it comes to cleaning their machines because Coca-Cola's contract with them, the size of the straws is a little bit bigger, so that way it like has a little bit more fizz to it, and they have to have their machines cleaned and maintained and tested by Coca-Cola or by like a third party. So that's why their Diet Coke and Coke, whatever, I drink Diet Coke, but like their soda and their tea tastes good and consistent, much like Starbucks. If I go and get a Diet Coke from McDonald's, it's going to taste good, and if I go to Wendy's, it could be like a little bit too much CO2. It could be a little muddy tasting. So I give it to McDonald's for that. Like it's consistency. I know what I'm going to get.
So I'm going to send you this now.
Yeah.
I know we're doing our podcast, but only because I don't want to forget. Just since you mentioned like how strict they are about their fountains.
Yeah.
But what they're not strict about is their ice cream machines in terms of how often those things are broken. And this dude has a 30-minute video that I actually sat down and watched the entire thing of.
I'm going to watch that
of an investigative story of why they're always broken. So sent that to you.
Yeah.
Would you have bought this controller? Even though I know it's Australia, would you have bought it? What is okay? I wouldn't buy it because I'm not, as much as I like McDonald's these days. What's the chain controller you would buy?
Fast food?
Yeah. Anything really? Any chain controller? Like if a company like was putting out some like limited edition Dualsense, and you were I'm gonna try and get my hands on it.
It's hard for me because I hate, and I say this as I'm wearing a Wallace Corporation shirt, but that's a nerdy reference as opposed to if you know Blade Runner 2049. But I don't.
I tried to make it through it. I fell asleep.
I'm sorry. It's dry. It's slow.
I tried to watch the first one too.
I love it. So, well, but
I'm just not Kino, dude.
It's okay. It's okay. So like, we'll definitely talk about other ones on another show. But like, I don't like wearing branded clothing where it's like overtly like it's a Nike symbol or some kid I saw last week that was wearing a Fly Emirates shirt. Like it was like.
Sure, it wasn't a soccer jersey.
It was a soccer jersey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but like, and then someone else wearing like a NASCAR shirt that had his favorite driver, and then it had like all these different symbols of these things that he's sponsored by, and I've always felt like it was like you're a walking billboard. I'm an
Adidas guy, man. You know, like you may or may not know that about.
Yeah, I know that's.
I wear a lot of Adidas, like Adidas shirts, Adidas pants, Adidas shorts,
and by all means, like if you have a brand,
my stuff from like GDQ that's like a random Wind Waker shirt.
Yeah, well, like I only have one. I have certain brands that I'm like I really like what they do. It's consistent. It's what I like the quality. I like their attention to detail or like their return policy. I'm a shill for this company called Shady Rays. It's a sunglasses company. They're good sunglasses, and they have a replacement policy.
Shady Rays, are they fake Ray-Bans?
So I like this one looks like Ray-Bans, but the other ones don't.
Because that's what that tells me with Shady Rays.
Yeah. So, dude, they've got they're pretty darn good quality. I mean, if you're used to going to like get like Target sunglasses because you break them, I get it. They're pretty good quality sunglasses. And their return policy, like you can break or lose them, and they will ship you a new pair. You just pay for shipping. Like so, cool. I've sat on them and then been like, shoot, or I'll order another pair. Obviously, they want return customers. They want you going to their site and everything. I don't, but I can't think of like a brand. If it's like there's certain ones, like maybe because it was like a joke, like maybe like an inside joke kind of thing. I can't think of something that doesn't have like a certain, I don't know, like my first thought was like Popeyes, but like
I'm a brand kind of guy.
Yeah,
I think you know that about like if there's like a company that it started with the shoes with Adidas where it was just their 10.5s always fit. I can buy them off the internet, and I know I'm not going to have to return them because their 10.5s are 10.5 for me. And so that became the thing, and then I just started buying all of their other stuff. Or like I drink Coke Zero. I don't drink Pepsi. I don't drink RC. I drink Coke Zero. That's my drink.
Yeah.
I go to very specific places. I buy the same beer for the most part. I buy the same like brand of anything. Once I find that I like it, there's a granola that I buy, Bare Naked granola. That's the only granola I love it. But once I found it and I like their product.
Yeah, but like I get that. Like I get that. Like I bought this like USB to Ethernet like adapter because it's from Cable Matters, and I was like, that's a good company. But like I wouldn't wear a
Anchor,
cable.
Right?
What? No.
Anchor. No.
Anchor
like
with a K.
Right? Yeah, Anchor. With the their charging products and stuff.
Oh yeah, sorry. I thought you were talking about something else. Yeah, but would you wear that like? Like I'd probably it'd be redundant because it'd be like a PlayStation branded PlayStation controller. Like I could see like something like that where it's like it's old school. It's like this is a reference to something or, but I can't think of like wearing a shirt where it's like, hey, look, here's my brand. If it's tied to maybe a specific franchise, but in regards to like a brand outside of like a Doritos brand, Dualsense, like that wouldn't be my thing. I don't know. I can't think of one offhand that I'm like I would immediately go do that. I would. I mean, if PlayStation did, partner though, like Adidas, Nike, Doritos, like there are ones that would fly off the shelves for those people, and I totally get that. I've just never been a person.
There is a PlayStation shoe that you can never. It's Paul George, who's a basketball player.
Yeah,
and he loves PlayStation, I guess, and he just does a PlayStation shoe. You can't get them, and the sneakerheads get them immediately.
Dude, they're serious. There's a Jeff Goldblum thing on Disney Plus that came out like I don't know last year or whatever, but it's a Jeff Goldblum docu-series where he explores certain things, and he goes and looks at like the sneakerheads and stuff. Like the money that they pay for it's I didn't realize how serious it was until well, it was a little bit before that, but like I had no idea that people were not only buying them other than Jordans, like people were buying these really weird, in my opinion, like crazy loud shoes, and they'd like buy them and just sit on them as an investment. I had no idea other than a few certain things.
Everybody, it's just everybody collects. Not everybody collects something, but like everybody's got a thing that they're willing to spend a ton of money on. We were watching the Toys That Made Us on Netflix yesterday in reference to like the movies that made us. But there's a Toys That Made Us version. We were watching like the My Little Pony episode, and then we watched the Lego episode, and just seeing the collectors of that kind of thing. The money is there, and just like what we have to worry about with the money is the Chinese money.
Little bit. So this
is probably not going to bother a lot of people. Most people probably don't care. It's just been a thing that it's just, I don't know. Every time you see a company like Tencent, or you see a company that is associated with China and probably is associated with the CCP, you just get a little scared. Riot is completely owned by them. I'm pretty sure they have a little piece of Epic. I
actually got a little thing on their recent purchases, like that I can pull up, because like just to show like the shares that they have, like majority shares or 100% buy. This is just what they bought in the last 2 years. So you got Remedy, Payload, Bohemian Interactive.
And Remedy makes me sad.
Yeah, right? It's a very small percentage.
Don't Nod makes me really sad.
I'm gonna blow it up a little bit. So you got Roblox.
Don't they like completely own Roblox?
I think they do now. Yeah.
Platinum Games makes me sad.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Like, it's like what is it? It's like if you're trying to like avoid like Nestle, like the amount of brands, you can't just not buy a Nestle product. The amount of brands that also are attached to this is serious. And when something becomes that big and they're making this many different different tone of product, if you will, it makes it really hard, because there are games from some of these companies that I like, some of them I don't. But when you do that and that's just the last 2 years. These are companies they're investing in, or they have completely bought out. That means that they can influence more. And I will say one thing, and it was very recent, because we were going to talk about this before, but I'm going to get who said it. It was a state-run newspaper in the CCP-run newspaper blasted video games earlier this week, saying they were spiritual opium and it was electronic drugs, and a lot of companies took a hit based on that. Roblox took a hit, and all these other companies that have I didn't watch the stock market, the stock exchange internationally, but U.S. took a hit on quite a few companies because of their ties to China. Because if the state-run newspaper says that means that people who are following the CCP are like, I shouldn't be playing video games. I shouldn't let my kids play video games because that is what their government is telling them to do. Because that's kind of that's the whole idea of what the CCP is doing. It's what they're trying to do, at least.
They're banning under 18-year-olds from playing from the hours of 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. on the weekdays.
That was something they did earlier this year, yeah.
They can only play for 90 minutes, while they may up to play to 3 hours per day on weekends and holidays. How much money do you have to where you just don't care? You're just like, no, I'm just going to implement this level of control. Mm-hmm. Going to take that control out of the hands of parents and say, screw it.
Yeah. It's the idea of, the imposing what you think is the right thing on others, because 90 minutes a day on the weekdays and 3 hours a day on the weekends, that's not bad in my opinion. But if the parent is the one saying, to limit those things, that's a different story than the government straight up limiting time for the kids to not be able to play between 10 p.m. and 8 a.m. Like, I don't know their schedule. Like, maybe they have trouble, and it's like really chill and mellow for them to play Minecraft for an hour or so before they go to bed. I know where my holidays. I took a week off work last week, right? I'm not a minor, obviously. Yeah. I took a week off work though, so I would get up every day, send my kid to school, and then I was spending a little bit of time by myself. I was at 10 hours of Skyward Sword at the beginning of last week, and I beat it at 30. So over the course of my week off of work, I put 20 hours into Skyward Sword. I was playing that game not completely nonstop. I was doing some stuff around the house and everything, but I put some serious time into that game. And I just imagine what I used to do on summers though. Like whenever I would get out of school, dude, I did video games, bro. If I wasn't playing video games, if I was going to Blockbuster or if I was going to another person's house to play video games, we did do some hiking. I had a really cool my house backed up to a state park, so I literally would walk out of my house and walk up in the hills in Colorado. So I did do that a little bit as well, but no, there was
until I discovered girls. That is, whenever girls happen in high school, that changed. That was a game changer.
Yeah, that didn't happen for me. See, I still played games, and I was too nervous to actually talk to girls that I liked. If it was a girl that I didn't like, I was fine. But if I had a slight attraction to them, I clammed up and I couldn't talk.
It's one of those things where I know that we're in an interesting subject matter field based on what's going on with the whole Delta variant thing right now, and how much we want people to get vaccinated and people mandating. There's just that level. I think that your employer can mandate that you do something. I don't think that my government can tell me that I have to get that shot. My school system that I'm going to send my kid to can mandate that he gets the thing that everybody gets, the
measles, the MMR.
The MMR. They can mandate that, or you don't get to go to their school. That's their
meningitis. Right? And
that's why some people go the homeschool route. You know, I think they're stupid because there's science behind some of that stuff. But that's the line, and that's the people that are buying these video game companies, man. At what point do they start doing that to our video? On this side of the pond, are they going to limit Roblox in America?
I don't think they're going to limit them in America. Just like someone was telling me earlier this week, they were Biden's gonna force everybody to get vaccinated. And, they haven't done anything like that. All he's done is heavily encouraged. But he has not said, I've said, send me a clip where Biden said that I'm going to make everybody get vaccinated. He's saying he's very heavily encouraging people to do it because he can't make you. And there's people who that may be their decision. The employer, I have, from my work and other people, if you're not vaccinated, you could bring it in and infect others, infect your customers, all kinds of things. I don't think that I'm not worried that they will. I don't think that they'll impose things like that in regards to like stopping us from playing games. I'm more concerned, or not. I'm more interested, because it's not a full-on concern, but I'm more interested in some of the laws and restrictions that they have, and the narratives that they control in their games within China, because they have a lot of like interesting rules around things that you can and can't have in a game, like ghosts, ghosts or ghouls, that kind of thing. Like they don't have that. Funny enough, there's like haunted mansion in Shanghai. Like they were like they had to redo like everything, because it's like we can't get away with this here, and they wouldn't understand it culturally even if we did. It says, so they say no politics, but it's really no anti-CCP, and it's very heavily against Western culture. Like it's very pro-Chinese culture, very against Western, European, American culture. They'll have very subtle things, right? So that's the interesting thing, that to me, that kind of thing coming over, because America is used to, well, we're used to the propaganda being more on our side, and now we're getting propaganda. We're seeing propaganda from another country, and depending on how subtle that is, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
It's not even just the subtle propaganda.
Mm-hmm.
It's the fact that of what you can't do.
Yeah.
So you think about Activision has Chinese ties, but there's also just like that gaming market there. But Call of Duty Cold War, first trailer that came out, had Tiananmen Square in it.
Yep.
And they were forced to remove Tiananmen Square from that trailer because that didn't happen or whatever,
because
right?
According to them,
and there's just things that happen. This isn't gaming, but WWE, John Cena called Hong Kong a country.
Taiwan.
Or is it Taiwan? My bad.
Yeah.
They called Taiwan a country. Yeah. And then apologized. Now, everybody wants to make fun of him for apologizing in Mandarin. Apparently, he's been studying Mandarin for a long time. Fine for him. And honestly, your kid probably should study Mandarin if you have one. Just with the way things are going. That's that kind of propaganda where, like, it's just that increase in control by putting even just a little bit of money. Patrick put up that list on the screen. One of them was like 3%, but that 3% is all you need to be like, no, you can't. Yep. You can't say anything about China and this. You can't. You can't be negative. Why do you think? Yeah. Whenever it comes to video games, right? Think about all the places where like war video games and stuff take place. We got plenty of Russia. We got some Japan in there. We got plenty of the United States. You ever see any stuff really going down in China in some of these video games?
No. I thought Metro had a little bit to it. Even Fallout has a reference. Fallout has a reference to like there was a nuclear war. But
that was an American-owned company.
Yep, that's an American company.
But still an American-owned company with Microsoft. I don't know what they would be willing to do or not do to say suck it.
I don't know. So and if it's an individual, again, we could go on about this. We'll wrap up shortly, but like I think again back to the individuality. Like if an individual, and I'm saying this about John Cena, if an individual decided, you know what, I shouldn't have said that. That was inappropriate. That's one thing. John Cena made that apology because of the ties that he has between WWE, between WWE, between Warner, with the Suicide Squad movie that comes out
Friday. HBO Max, baby.
But HBO Max tomorrow night. You can actually watch it 7 p.m. Eastern.
I'm watching it this weekend.
So somebody
gave me that HBO login. So
so like the ties that he has as well as future ties. Let's say John Cena's thinking like, maybe I want to be in a Marvel movie one day. You want to be in a Marvel movie, you have to play ball. And it's unfortunate.
That's why Mephisto can't show up right now in the MCU as much because of how they feel about demons.
And he's basically the devil, and that's a big no there.
You can't do that, and so like that's a reason that you haven't. I mean, who knows if that's completely the reason, but that to me is a reason, because the action movies play such a large role there. You see, in the NBA gets criticized for it all the time. They have a huge Chinese market ever since Yao Ming played for the Rockets, that they won't say anything, and people often criticize the NBA players for criticizing anything at home whilst doing the Chinese thing. And like at some points with those individuals, it's like, well, what do you want them to do? They went from making no money to making a lot of money. Those individuals aren't going to be stupid.
Yeah, overnight. And they're like, how long is this gonna is this gonna be something that you get to do for like 2 years? Hopefully,
I remember one coach didn't apologize, but he was just like, I shouldn't have said that. Like, that was as close to his apology as he was going to get, because he knew that he was being leaned on. But he was like, I shouldn't have said it.
That's probably the level that I'd be at, because that's true. I shouldn't have said that, because it's not in my financial best interest or political best interest, depending. But
I get more and more worried about what it's going to do to games if they buy my favorite, especially if they buy my favorite companies. I'm already like upset about some of these companies, but like I just imagine if somehow they bought out Square, because like they bought Sumo Digital. And Sumo, no offense to Sumo Digital, they weren't worth $2 billion.
They weren't. And I think that everyone kind of knows this, but I just want to state it, like, all of this we're talking about, we're not talking anti-Chinese whatsoever. It's specifically CCP and these constraints and the control.
Anti-Chinese government.
It's government. Yeah, I want to make sure, because I've seen some really terrible stuff, the past year.
Ever since COVID, and it crossed over to other Asian ethnicities too.
Mm-hmm.
I live near K-Town, and I don't see it happen a whole lot in K-Town, but it is something that people talked about. And like, just to let you guys know, Korea is not China. Japan is not China.
Yep. It's
Philippines
sad.
Are not China.
Nowhere near. But like, that's why I'm saying, like, because to me, if none of this was going on, if it had nothing to do with like the constraints of what's happening, not only within the country, or also limitations, I'm all about getting art from another country. Can I see what their games look like? Let me see a story made by that culture, telling like there's whatever it is from them. Like I'm all about that. Like the little quirks from different companies that are, even when they're making games towards Americans, is interesting. But I'd like to see something like a game like made by a Chinese company that, like, I want to see more art is what I'm really getting at. And
sure.
I'm all about that. But if what's coming out is being filtered and oppressing those artists, that's where I have a problem. So I just want to state that. I think we're pretty clear on it, but just in case anyone misconstrued any of that, it was very much
absolutely
come on. Like, I don't think that it will restrain us. I don't think that we will, government-wise, like, have a crackdown like that. Just like, I don't think there's ever going to be a time where...
Me and Patrick disappear after this podcast. Come
on. Because when you see us making a very robotic apology video, I don't think the American government's going to do anything like that, or come take our guns or anything like that. I don't think that's going to happen within our country. It definitely happens in other countries, and the problem is that the smaller changes that can happen can influence us as these countries get bigger. You see the influence that it's made on these large American companies. That's only getting bigger when it comes to unless you're like Harley Davidson or Levi's, like, that are so American, you can't really, like, a lot of large companies have to like toe that line. So, anyways,
sure.
This get really hopefully you guys had fun with that little random political tangent, but
hopefully you had fun with our fast food discussion as well.
Exactly. What's your favorite fast food restaurant? Is it Popeyes? Is it Domino's? Do you like Domino's or Papa John's or Pizza Hut better? Like, let me know in the comments what your favorite.
If you like Pizza Hut, you can unfollow them.
Not since they had.
If you like it better, that is.
Sure. Well, not since the red cups, man, and the salad bar. Like, it's just gone downhill.
Yeah.
Have a good one, everybody.
Bye.